Ho, 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 ho. Yeah. What's up, YouTube fam? Hope you guys had a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas. And now we're on to the new year of 2018. It's pretty exciting. 17's been a lot of fun. We had a lot of good times this year. And I'm glad to see the progression of things in 2018. So that's exciting. Anyways, guys, submitted for your approval. And here today on the docket, we have a project. Now, I hinted this to you guys in the last project, or last video, excuse me, of this here is a VIN J, excuse me, VIN J, which means this is a 1988 KX125, and this thing, as you can see, is pretty raunchy. I mean, we got some, rusted brake rotors, we got, chain that's obviously toast, swing arms beat to smithereens, shock is blown, looks like dude rebuilt the engine. He told me he did anyway, and he didn't even get new gaskets for any of it. He just used Permatex everywhere, so that's gonna have to be all undone. He was selling this because it has no spark. He rebuilt the engine and thinking that it had no compression or low compression, and it has no spark. So he figured that out later. But the light on the horizon here is we have a donor bike, or I'm considering making this the donor bike. Let me show you what else I got. You guys probably seen this in another video, but this is a 1989, so that's an 88. This is an 89. Both KX125s. The 89, as far as I know, was the last year of the single-sided radiator. A lot of people did not like this bike, and rightfully so. But you guys know me. I don't work on anything that's normal or average or everyone has. I like to work on the stuff no one has or is thrown away and otherwise derelict and forgotten. So let's go over a couple things about the bikes, and we'll make a decision which crossover we want to do. But I think my mind's already made up. But let's do this, huh? So on this one here, for you who recognize the cone welding, would recognize that this is maybe an early DG or Dynaport pipe. There is no tag on it. I don't even see where the tags were. They could have been ground off a long time ago, but this one's got a nice little dent into it, which I'm not very fond of. The engine does roll over very nicely, cleanly. It does have a lot of clean compression that's not excessively dragged, which means that he probably did the top end correctly, although I'm going to have to redo it just because he did not use the correct gaskets. Instead, he bumbled it up with a bunch of RTV, which we all know that is not a safe and sound way to rebuild an engine. So we're going to change that. Also, front fork seals on this one are blown, and more of the same on the front wheel. Front wheel's just gashed up. This thing's really taxed. But however, one thing I did not tell you guys about this 1989 that I have is the guy that I got it from was actually in the process of restoring it. Though he did not do some things correctly, and he could have done a lot of things differently. It's not that bad. So anyways, let me show you. Front rotor, obviously rusty, but recoverable. It has an interesting oversized pattern to it. I don't know if it is oversized for this year, but it seems bigger than the 1989. So anyways, everything looks good on this. It has a brand new radiator, and he told me at the time when I picked it up that it took him a long time to find the original OEM radiator and guard. So it's a brand new radiator, but then he tried to paint it and he didn't match his colors very well. So there's a lot of give and take on both these bikes, but with both of them together, I should have one very nice bike. Why? Because the eBay gods have once again smiled upon me with some help from some partners in Switzerland, some partners in England, Australia. Anyways, I've been on the move. I've been looking for parts for this thing for a while, but I've been keeping you guys in the dark because I didn't want to give too much away. But I have some really awesome brand new NOS, which is new old stock parts for this thing. I don't want to give away too much, but do you guys remember the tough blue plastics from back in the day? New number plates, original OEM shrouds and decals. I do not have a new tank for it, but I do have an FMF Gold Series Fatty. I also have brand new OEM NOS muffler for it. I mean, this thing came out of the box and it's the original condition from Kawasaki. It's not used at all. You guys can't even see how nice it is. Never even fired up. So that's cool. So I got some really cool stuff for this thing. I got new cables, guards. I got some seriously cool stuff to put on this thing. So I'm caught in the middle right now, debating between the 89 frame and the 88 frame, because I have the title for the 88 frame, but I do not have the title for the 89 frame. And here in California, bikes are pretty much junk if you don't have the title, as it is in most places. And I'm thinking about putting the 89 stuff over to the 88, but I'm going to do a little research to see if the 88 and the 89 engine are similar or same, in which case I'll put the 88 engine into the 89 and then start hooking up everything accordingly. But I want the 88 personally because I have the 88 KX500. I have the 87 KX250 over there in the shop garage, whatever. So I like to keep 88, stay away from the 89. As far as I can tell, they're exactly the same, with the exception of just some little differences here and there, you know, but for the large part, the same. Anyways, guys, let's get into the who, what, where, when, whys, okay? Okay, so let's start with the who, what, when, whys. This is just an introduction video, so there's not going to be a whole lot of mechanical work in this one, but you will see some. So, who did I get it from? Both bikes were Craigslist buys here locally where I live. What is the plan and long-term goal for these things? So, obviously, you guys know I have a soft spot in my heart for the 80s vehicles, you know, dirt bikes, obviously, in which the early works bikes. I really dig the early works bikes, and they were a part of my youth. You know, that was when I was at the Supercross track with my dad, back when he was wrenching for Team Kawasaki, and I used to see these bikes rolling through the pits, and they were just absolutely, you know, everything to me. That's what I love so much watching. So, anyway, I plan on building a perfect race bike of what you would see for the time in 1988. I have a line on a Roost Boost, which is an electronic ignition thing that they used to put on to try to increase the amperage of the ignition. Don't know if it really worked, but it was kind of cool to have. And then, of course, all the other bolt-on stuff in the engine. I'll obviously do some porting work, open up the ports on it, and just kind of clean up the castings, use some really high quality, you know, aftermarket stuff. I don't want to give too much away right now, but that's all I can say is high quality aftermarket components. Okay, so now that we covered the what, where am I going to be using this? Now, it is possible that this could be a 125 Dream Ride bike for next year. If you guys don't know about the 125 Dream Race, check it out. It's for the outdoor season of motocross. They do a 125 Dream Ride class, in which case I do have a rider who does want to race something. I also do have the 03 RM 125 that was is still in the works, but that thing is going to be amazing when it's done. And then so this is kind of like, it's TBD on who it's going to be for, and then so when do I expect for it to be done? Now, I have I would say 90% of the parts already. I've been sourcing parts, and that's why I finally decided to put out this video right now, is because I finally have enough parts. I could put this thing together today, make it start run with all the parts that I have, but what's the fun in that? And plus I want to perfect a lot of the parts that are on it, clean them, make sure that they are as nice as I could get them before reassembly. So that is the win. So it's ASAP. It's going to be the series that you're in right now. The next 3 or 4 videos will be in regards to that. Don't worry, the 87 or 88 KX500 that I have is still coming, guys. It is not gone. I did not sell it, did not get rid of it. It is on its way. I just have a lot of other parts I have to get for that one. That one's actually a lot harder to find parts for than actually this KX125. Now, having said that, why? I think I've covered the why, the who, what, where, when, why. No, I didn't. Why? Why? I kind of did. It's just, it was a big part of my youth. It's an era that speaks to me. You know, in my past and in my memory, the why is just, they were awesome bikes. They had a ton of power and horrible suspension. And that's what kind of made them fun, is like these guys would just gun them off of single jumps with no landings, and they would just land out as far as they could and bust their ankles, you know, bust their back up. And it was as a kid, there was no other person that was gnarlier to me than a supercross motocrosser in that area. So having said that, having covered the who, what, when, why, how do I plan on doing this really is obviously in between work, whenever I can, to come in, flip on the camera, set it up, and just start getting these things done, because it's going to be worth it in the end. It's going to be awesome. I'd love to do a ride review. I'd love to get some different guys on it. I got so much projects, guys, as you could see in so many of the other videos. I do see some of them through to the end. Some of them get hung up. Some of them do get blacklisted, sold. Some of them don't make the cut because of low interest through YouTube. If I don't see it's gaining interest through YouTube, I'll dump it, you know, forget it. So anyways, guys, that is a who, what, when, where, why. Let's get started taking this thing apart. I'm really not looking forward to the taking apart part. I like assembly better, but it really needs to be done in this thing. I need to go through each part and see what the heck is going on, and why it's not running. And hopefully my coil and stator from the 89 will work on the 88 engine. So having said that, cut it, let's go. All right, guys, so I'll show you what's up and where I'm at right now. So what I went ahead to do, because the guy that I got the 89 from, or the 88, excuse me, I'm getting my bikes mixed up. He told me he put a brand new stator, coil, and CD on it. And the stator, excuse me, does look relatively new, looking at the condition of the aluminum. However, what I ended up doing was pulling the entire ignition system off the 1989 and pulled the stator out of the motor. This engine is completely garbage. You can't even see it, but there you go. You can kind of see it a little bit. I'm surprised the rod even moves. Besides, look at the damage. Oh, that damage is actually from me hammering it out of the cylinder, which did not survive, obviously. So I pulled the stator out of that. I put it inside the other one. This is kind of just figuring out if this bike is actually going to start. I pulled off the ignition system. I put it on the 1988, which is now on the back. I mixed up a fresh pot of gas right there. I went 40 to 1, figuring it might be a little boogery. Using Lucas Oil premix. So anyways, I have it back here. I verified it does have spark, and obviously, boys, the bike is very poor looking, but I have things to fix that. I'm moving a bicycle, beg your pardon, but I have things to fix how it looks. We just need to find out if it runs. So I did verify that it does have spark, made sure that the controls, that there's a good slack in the throttle. Anytime you guys get a bike, make sure that you can hear the throttle make a clicking sound. Not sure if the audio is picking that up, but when it snaps back, it'll make a clicking sound. So you know that the throttle's closing all the way. I have gas obviously plumbed, fuel line to it. I'm excited. If you can't tell by my voice, I'm kind of like, argh. Anyway, I'm gonna set you guys up. We're gonna see how many kicks it takes. I say 2 if it's done right. 2, but I have no idea how dude did the top end in this thing and if it's gonna hold up or not. So there we go. So awesome. It does fire. It does run. Son of a gun. So that gives me hope for the progress here in the project, where it's gonna go, and I'll see this one through, thank God. So I was able just to switch over the ignition system from the bad motor to the good motor, and it runs fine. It sounds a little loaded up. Compression feels good at the foot, but it sounds loaded up. I suspect it's a Sparky. Here in California, we have to run spark arresters in forestry, and these things, they have a very tiny screen mesh material inside of them that load up with oil from the premix, the unburnt premix, and it causes them not to rev out. So I have a feeling, oh, I got some kids here that are just having a blast. Anyway, yeah. All guys, is very good news. I've retained the coil and the CDI from the old bike. I'll have to test those later and find out which one of those is bad. But in the meantime, I mean, gosh guys, I'm so stoked, because that means I get to transfer the good parts off of this, and man, I'm gonna obviously recondition everything and restore everything the best that I can with the tools that I have. So that's exciting. What a kickoff, guys. What a kickoff to a new year, a new project, and I'm totally excited. I mean, I've had that bike, I've had this bike right here for probably easily almost 2 years. I've been just waiting for the right opportunity where I had spare motor or a spare parts bike or something like that to pull from, because this motor was just absolutely, I mean, unsalvageable. It's so bad. The crank is rusted tight in there. Can't see because of the lighting, but it's poor. The poor thing. I mean, the head gasket blew, and he parked it. And I'll show you the cylinder. I have the cylinder right here. The light's really getting dim now though, but I think I can get you an idea. And this is actually after I cleaned out the cylinder, but you guys can see how hammered it is. But this is obviously a candidate for re-nickeling or replating. I think these are plated. I don't see a seam where they put sleeve in this, so I believe it's plated, but there will need to be a lot of repair done to it before it is re-nickeled. But at the meantime, hey, I don't need to. I got a good solid running engine, and man, do I have a slew of beautiful parts from my friends around the United States, from around the world. I mean, I'll name drop at the end of it because you guys know who you are, and you guys knew about this project for a while. I'm excited. Oh my gosh, this is a big weight off my chest, obviously, because I will get to see, well, not this one. I decided I'm going to take the parts from this because there was a difference in the two frames, and I'm going to, I think, put everything into this one. If I just said that incorrectly, I apologize. I didn't like the two-tone on the frame, but I am a purist. I do want to keep the 89 in the 89, so and the correct motor inside the other frame. So I'll just be using the parts from this. When I say I'll be using this, I'll be using the parts from this to restore the other one, because they're all identical except for the frame. But at least in that way, I'll be keeping the original frame with the original motor. It's all going to stay 1988, and that's way cool. I am so stoked, guys, and thank you a lot for coming along with me on this journey. If you haven't already, subscribe so you can go ahead and follow the progress of how this KX125 is going to go. Like if you enjoyed what you saw today, because I definitely put a lot of time in editing and into purchasing and finding these parts, so I'd appreciate at least a like. And but guys, this is going to be a blast, because it's not going to look anything like this when this thing is done. So I can get a screenshot there. Anyways, from the shop garage, whatever, this is Clint Lund and
What up?
Isaac Lund, and we love every single one of you guys, and we will talk to you soon. Peace out.